It's so good to see everybody here today. I am so excited. And this is Cindy with Energized Living Today. And Ferris, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Because Ferris is a big part of this last week's, well, 2 weeks journey. And so I want to make sure that Ferris is here. And then, of course, Andrew. And Andrew is going to be managing the chat here today. Now, I don't know that I will be channeling anything today, just to let everybody know. More than anything, when we go to the World Viewing Room, I'm going to relay to you the journey that I've been on, the movie set, it feels like, that I've been in for the last 2 weeks. It's pretty amazing. And one of the things I want to say is right after I channeled the information about the second storm, the first part of the third storm came the very next day. And that will be significant, which I don't fully understand, but I'm told it will be very significant in the future. So we'll talk about that as it is revealed to me. As I was told, these are the 7 storms that are uprooting the world, not just the United States, not just you, not just a specific person. These are uprooting the world. So we're all looking for the same thing, which is world peace. And I believe that this is where this is leading us. But I don't know, as I'm told again and again. I think I know what's going to happen next, and something else happens. So it's been fascinating, really fascinating. Just very quickly, I'll share a funny from yesterday. When I was out riding with Gary and Zebra pulled up beside me, I asked him to be with me to keep me strong because I've never gone on a almost 200-mile journey before on my motorcycle. The most I've done, maybe 100 miles, I guess about 100 miles. So this was almost double. And so I said, be with me. And he said, you can do this. And I said, well, teach me some skills. And he's riding along beside me. And every now and then he'll take that motorcycle that looks like his motorcycle and it becomes his wings, and he'll swoop around, and it's so gorgeous when he does that. But he came back and I said, now come on, ride beside me, you're showing off. And I said, so show me some skills. So it felt like he got on my motorcycle with me, put his hands over mine, and I said, hey, I'm married. And he said, and I'm an angel. Just started laughing out loud. And Gary's looking at me like, why are you laughing? And I said, I'll tell you when we get off the bikes. It was funny like that all day. And at one time, I'm very heat sensitive. And if I'm riding in the heat where the sun is beating on me, my resting heart rate becomes about 144. And so at one point, I asked that he kept me covered so that the sun wouldn't affect me when we were out in the heat of the day. It was in the 90s. And I said, could you protect me? And all of a sudden he went, whew, and he was like a parachute above me, protecting me. And my heart rate stayed normal the whole entire day. So that was cool. And he taught me all kinds of skills on how to, because your hand goes numb after hours of, holding the throttle. And so he showed me some different hand positions to use, and my hand never froze up. So it was really cool. And I got a lot of skills useful for me when I'm just out having fun. So any angels that you communicate with, know that they can teach you things just about everyday life. All you have to do is ask. And that's the lesson that I got from Zebra yesterday. So know that, just call them in and they will guide you. So Marielle, that might even be the answer to your question, is just ask for your guides, whoever they are, to show you what you need to do. And that information will be given to you. And the other thing that, in this whole journey, is to remember the beat of creativity. Creativity is allowing whatever comes through you to come through you. And what happens when we are channeling information in the flow is going from the head to the pen, or through acting, Andrew, or whatever. You have to allow it to flow through you, because if you don't and the left brain gets involved, and Ferris and I were just talking about this, what happens is it shuts it off, because the left brain is organization. That's punctuation and spell check and order and all of those things. And if you get that involved in your creativity or your, which is creation, these downloads that I'm getting is creation from God. So the beat of creativity is left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left. So it's left brain shut up, right brain open up or awaken, right brain expand, and then just get out of the way and let that right brain just filter in that information or channel in that information or that creation, whatever it is, whether it is drawing, painting, like Eva does, acting like Andrew does. Let that flow through. And then after that creation is done, just like I'm told, you know, now put it into book form where I have to put order to it. That's the left brain. And the left brain you bring back and you just say, wake up. So it's left, shut up, right brain, wake up, right brain, expand, left brain, come on back, and then put everything in order. So that's how, when you're channeling, that's the best way I know how to describe it, either channeling or whatever it is that you are creating or co-creating, I like to say, because I'm certainly not doing this by myself. I can tell you, I don't think like this, never have, and it's fantastical. So with all that in mind, I want to take us to the World Viewing Room. And I've been so excited, by the way, to do this that I need to just really calm myself. It's been so amazing to me that I've just been like a cat on a hot tin roof. Just, oh my God, I can't wait to share this. So, okay, let's go ahead and just take a nice deep breath in. And release. Another nice, calm, slow, deep breath in. And put your feet flat on the floor. If you have on shoes, which I do, I'm going to kick them off and just put my feet flat on the floor and really ground yourself as we're doing this work. We want to remember that we are connecting heaven and earth. Relax your hands, palms up. Drop your chin to your chest. Just let your head hang for just a moment, releasing any tension in the back of your neck. Roll your head to the left. And to the right. And again, to the left, so the ear is over the shoulder. And then just pull down just a little, releasing any tension. And release to the other side. And just slight tension. Don't pull too hard. Release any tension in your neck. And now back to center and head up, and just roll your shoulders up towards your ears and back, up towards your ears and down your back. A third time, up towards your ears and down your back. And then just wiggle your body for just a moment. Just release your sits bones and relax your back, your lower back. That's where we hold all our tension. Release the tension in your jaw. Any tension in your feet, just come up on your toes and back down to the floor. Up on your toes, back on the floor. Again, up on the toes, back on the floor. And just keep those feet grounded. And another nice deep breath as we go into the world viewing room. As we enter the world viewing room together, it becomes the world viewing center, where two or more are gathered. It is our center to come and learn and share. Today, as we look around, we see that the light brigade is all around us. The angels are floating just above the light brigade, all around us, encircling us. They are here to help guide us today. As we look through the door, the window of the world, we're looking through God's eyes at the world. We are being asked to look at the world without judgment. Right now, there are 7 storms that are uprooting this world. This channeled information is to help us understand and to help us know how we can dispel this negative energy, these storms that we are now in. And we can do it together. So let's just hold hands for just a moment. Let's just feel the touch of our hands. In our world today, we're not able to touch. Not as much as usual, but here it is safe. Feel the warmth from the hands you are holding. Together we have great energy. Just sit for a moment and feel that love, that energy, that touch, that bond. I would like you to keep your eyes closed so you can envision what I received. I did not know at the time who this came from. That was the journey. Envision a beautiful mansion, and we're in a room. The first thing you see is this beautiful fireplace, and it has gold inlay. On top are all kinds of different figures and ornaments that you can tell are very fine, very beautiful, from all over the world. Now step back for a moment and look into the room, and you will see this ornate globe. As you move closer to the globe, you can see that it's made up of different types of crystals from the center of the earth. It just glows with beauty. Each of the countries are divided with little lines of gold. The richer the country, the thicker the gold. And now as you look closer, you'll see that there are little finer lines of gold for each of the states or the provinces. And you're just marveling at the beauty of this globe. Turn around and look into the room. There are beautiful white couches and a white chair made of the finest leather. On them are pillows that look like they're hand woven with gold threads going through them. You move over back to the far side of the room so you can take this all in at once. There's such splendor here, such beauty, such wealth. Across the room, towards the left, is a door. And the door is also beautiful. The door is cracked open. And you look out and you see that there's another wall across the hall. But it's the backside of the wall with a stand. And you notice that it's a facade. It's a set. And you look around and you realize that you are on a movie set. Suddenly the room becomes whitewashed. All of the gold, all of the glitter, all of the beauty is suddenly gone. When you realize that you have been deceived, from the bottom of your view rises up two horns. The horns are ram's horns. And they're big and they're curled and they make you feel a little uneasy inside. And as you back away, you notice these horns are attached to a very, very tiny little person. Now take a nice deep breath. And open your eyes. That's where this journey into the third storm began. And again, it was right after willful ignorance. That came one day and this the next. And I said, okay, is this going to be speeded up? Are these storms going to be speeded up and I'm going to be receiving all this information early? And I started asking, who's the angel? And I started getting really anxious. And during the last call, Farah said, you know, be careful that we might put too much into the names that we're getting. And so I asked that. I said, are they important? And as we're going to find, the answer is yes. The names that we get are very important on this whole journey. And that's been shown to me. But before we get started on the rest of the information that I received, Ferris, I would like you to come on and talk about the difference between deceit and deception.
Well, the simplest way I can put it is deception is a card trick. Deceit is trying to convince everybody that the card trick is actually magic.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And in today's world, that's happening more and more. And, you know, one of the questions that I got from a sister is, you can't channel God. And I said, oh, do you ever get messages from God? She said, all the time. He answers prayers. Okay. So you're telling me you channel God. People don't think about it that way. Answered prayers. Answered prayers. That's proof. That is proof that God exists, that God is there for us, and that God is speaking not only to us, but through us in whatever creative way the Creator decides. And you can call God God. That's how God came to me when I was 10. So I always say God. But if that's not comfortable for you, you can say Creator. You can say universe. All that is, I am, you know, however is comfortable for you, that's right. Because if you reject it in any way, you're not going to receive. So receive it in the way that is comfortable and makes you feel light within your body. So thank you for that, Ferris. That's a great way to put it. There's a lot of deception going on in today's world, and we see it or we don't want to see it everywhere. Some people reject seeing it. They don't want to know what's going on. And as I have learned, it makes it much, much easier to be deceived. And I went through a situation where I was deceived. And what happened is I started judging the situation. I even started judging whether or not Ferris was right, if names meant nothing. And I started questioning it and asking, maybe they don't, and starting judging the whole situation. And what happened was, for several days, I couldn't channel anything. I couldn't get anything. And I felt this heaviness and this sadness, and I couldn't, it was like I lost my connection with God, and it was scary to me. It was very scary to me. And it took me several days before I could start getting information again. And the morning that I got the meditation with the leeches, and for those of you who did not experience that meditation, should I go ahead and take everybody on it now, Ferris, so they can experience it again?
Yeah, let's do.
Okay. All right. Because this is what brought back the channeling, and it came back in a fantastical way. So like the first part wasn't already fantastic. And by the way, I believe the ram's horn represents deceit, and how easily we can be deceived, and our world can be washed over. That's what that feels like to me. So I'd like to know what everybody else gets. So make note of whatever you felt there. But let's go ahead and just close our eyes. And again, center yourself. We're here in the World Viewing Center. But for right now, you're in the world viewing room all by yourself. And you look down and you see that your feet are in a pool of water. The water comes up to about mid-calf. Suddenly you notice that there are leeches attaching themselves to your feet all over. And at first you get really uncomfortable. And then you hear God say, start feeling yourself with love. Filling your whole body with love from head to toe. Start through the heart and send that love up into the head, down your arms, into each of your fingertips. And now through the base of your body, the trunk of your body, down into your legs, and all the way down into your feet, and into your toes. As you look down at your feet, you realize that those leeches have let go, they have released, and they float away. And as they float away from you, they burst into lotus flowers. And you notice the colors of those lotus flowers. And it gives you a sense of peace. Because we know that the lotus flower grows from the muck and the mud. And from it there is beauty. Take a nice deep breath. And open your eyes. It was after that that I realized, after I let go of all that judgment and all the things that were bogging me down, all of this beautiful information started coming through. Ferris and I were having a conversation about deceit and deception. And we'll talk more about that in the future, but I realized that once we started talking about, I wonder what the difference is between deceit and deception. We started looking this up and clarity, the clarity that I had between the two, because when I first channeled deceit, I kept trying to change it to deception and I kept getting rerouted back to deceit. And so I wondered what the difference between the two was. So that was great clarity. And then my mom came into view, and or her name kept coming to me, Elaine. And so I'm thinking, no, I pushed it away and I thought, okay, is the next angel Elaine? Is the angel going to be called Elaine? Before the names came, I saw this angel from the profile. It was only the profile of the angel. And this angel had very defined features with a very prominent forehead, prominent eyebrows, a smallish nose, but with just a little bit of a bump on it, and pretty prominent lips, auburn hair, and I could only see from profile. And then when I looked at this angel, I thought, oh, the next angel is going to be masculine. And then all of a sudden, the angel looked feminine. And so when Ferris and I were talking, I said, Ferris, this angel sometimes will be masculine, sometimes will be feminine. And I don't understand that. And he said, well, angels are androgynous, and so it can be he or she, male or female, depending on the energy that we need. So you would refer to that angel as they. And then I after that, started getting these names. And I thought, but if this angel is a they or a he, because first I saw a he, how can it be Elaine, which is my mom's name? And then I started getting the male names. First, it sounded like Eon, and then I thought, okay, Eli. And then the next name came, Lane. And I went outside and I started meditating on that. And all of a sudden, this angel, I saw the male first, and another angel started moving over like this. And I realized that they were twins. So I thought it was one angel, and there was actually two. So I started asking about the names. And I said, I'm hearing Elaine and Eli. And then it was clarified, and I was told Ian. And IAN. And so Gary came out just at that time, and I said, I'm getting the names. Was it Gary or you, Ferris?
It was Gary, I think.
It was. Okay. So I said, I'm getting the names now, Ian and Lane. Ian and Lane, and they have very significant meaning. And at the same time, my aunt came around. So I asked her to do some homework on that. And I got the name Ian and Lane, and I started looking them up. Ian and Lane are derived from the name Elaine. And as I did further investigation, and Gary did investigation, and my aunt did investigation, we found out that Ian is another name for, the American name for that is John. The name Lane is also another name for John. And so what is the name that most people use to deceive others? John Smith. when they go in and or John Jones, or if they can't identify somebody, it's John Doe, so that name.
You spend too much time in motels.
I used to when I was traveling all the time, Ferris. So it was, so there's these two names, and I thought, John, both of these names mean John, but one is feminine and one is or female and male, as Ferris likes to say, different than masculine, feminine. Or would that would be right?
Well, that'd be feminine and masculine.
Yeah, okay. So when I started asking about it, and I said, so this is the twins. But I saw another one in shadow. I saw a third one, but for days I could not see the other person. And I said, is that Eli? Who is that one that's the third person? And I kept hearing John. And I'm like, what is this? I couldn't understand it. And then the twins, Ian and Lane, put their hands out, facing outward like this, and their hands were back away from them. And they joined hands, like, they threaded their hands shoulder to shoulder like this. And that third entity, whoever it was, joined hands, and they were looking out into the world. And I thought, oh, so they are looking out for Deceit. I'm trying to figure it out. And they're like this again, this was a few days that I saw them like this. And all of a sudden, that third person came into view. And that third person came into view because of my aunt. My aunt came in with pages of information on these names. She does research like you wouldn't believe. She's got, if you want to know anything about Ian and Lane, she's got it right here. And this is not even all of it. This is just part of her research.
And she has a list of those pages too. So
yes, she does. She is very, very detailed person. So she got everything from even what the acronyms mean, just everything. And she said, but Cindy, I get the feeling that the third John is Donald John Trump. And all of a sudden he became clear and linked with the other angels. And I just went, it just took my breath away like this. And all of a sudden, when I saw them, I just stood there for a second because I was frozen. I couldn't believe it. And all of a sudden, this glass top, like a cake top or a, you know, that you put over cheese, those crystal tops came down like this over top all three, trapping them. And I knew that it came from Archangel Michael. And at the same time that I saw that, she said, I see Archangel Michael cutting the cords. And so I saw that. That just stunned me. And all of the cords had been cut. And an angel appeared standing on the top of that crystal. And she made me feel she has very feminine energy, very soft, very beautiful, but very, very strong energy. And she looks very much like her, just a little darker hair, I think, not as long, but she looks a lot like our watcher of the world here, Angel. She looks a lot like that to me, but I haven't seen her face fully yet. That's why when I don't see their faces, I always know that there's more information coming. They don't reveal to me fully until I get to until I'm ready for the next part. So I'm starting to realize what the signs are. So her face has not been revealed to me, but her wings have, and her wings are extraordinary, and they are the purest white, and they look like they have pearls throughout them. And they're just, oh God, they're so extraordinary. So I've seen that part of her. And I was told to look up Mom's name. And so when we did this, I had everybody looking up Ian and Lane, but I didn't have them look up, and it led to Elaine, but I didn't have them look up Elaine specifically. So I said, okay, I'm gonna look up Elaine. When I looked up the name Elaine, in Hebrew, Elyudana is another name for Elaine. And as soon as I saw it, I got shivers through my whole body, and I knew that was the name of the next angel, the angel of the third storm. And so I looked up the meaning. And the meaning God has answered me. And I just had to sit there. because all of the journey that I had been on, I'd been asking, do the main names mean anything? Look at the journey that I was sent on to understand that they are giving us a message. These names are giving us a message. These are Hebrew names. Everything from the very beginning is going back to the Old Testament. And which is, again, surprising to me because I've not hardly looked at the Bible that much in many years. And just, so for these things to come up has been so surprising. And now I'm being led back to this valuable wisdom from the Bible. And to know who is talking to me. Who is really talking to me? Am I being deceived? And to get the answer, my God has answered me. Every time I get confirmation that God is speaking through me. It's not coming from me, it's coming through me. And I reiterate that because I question it myself. And Ferris questions it. And so I'm not going to question. I'm not questioning anything anymore. The first part of this name, by the way, it's, and Ferris, can you type it in? It's Elyudana. 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 But she is known as Elyudana. Elyana. That is a short version of it because most people have a hard time remembering her name. So most commonly, she said she is known as Elyudana. E-L-I. I'm sorry, I said E-L-I. It's E-L-Y. It's E-L-Y-A-N-A. And that is a shorter version, which means my God has answered. That E-L is God. A-N-A, Anna, or Anna, is answered, and U-D-A. It's located after, whenever it's located after the E-L is the indicator of first person possession. So my God has answered me. I have just been sitting with this and looking at it, and this is where I'm told, okay, left brain, wake up and start looking at this, examining this, questioning this, studying this. Because I opened up, I told the left brain to shut up and just allowed the channel to come. And when I did, when I let those leeches go that were leeching out my ability to channel, they became beautiful lotus flowers. And I was able to receive this information. And now I can wake up that left brain and start asking questions. What did I learn here? The ram's horns, for me, as I said, represent how easy we can be deceived. Because I thought I was in this mansion and I was looking around at this beautiful room and admiring it and how we're drawn to those things, you know, and just, I was studying everything, every detail in that room as I walked around just to find out it was a set. And the ram's horns come from a very tiny being. Somebody who has not awakened. Somebody that does not know God, that does not know that they are God. They are one with God. They are the I am presence. They are the I am that I am. So they walk around with these big horns, trying to deceive others into believing that they are more than they understand that they are. Let me repeat that. They want people to believe that they are more than they understand that they are. And that's where the deceit comes in. The two angels, Ian and Lane, are actually two good angels. They are helper angels, and they assist Elyudana. They assist Elyudana in helping people to see what deception looks like. That's why they appeared at first, and I would see the male, and then all of a sudden I'd see the female, the male, and it kept going back and forth for days, and I couldn't figure it out. And all of a sudden I realized they are twins. And twins will talk about this. We used to photograph some twins, and they'd say we would fool people all the time, you know. And these twins were fooling me, but they are here not to be evil or deceive, but to help us understand how easy it is to be deceived. When we want to believe something, we are going to see what we want to see.
The first thing I thought of when you said twins is Jacob in the Bible. Trickster, swindler, deceiver. Jacob wrestled with an angel of God, which for me makes sense with a situation I have going on right now. Nothing to do with this, but a message for me. So interesting.
And then Patricia
said Elaine also means ray of shining light, the French form of Helen.
Yes. And that's the first thing. Come to think of it, I think we did look it up, Ferris, the name Elaine, and we saw that, but that's as far as I went. Like, I didn't go deeper until later. So come to think of it, we did look it up, and we saw that it was Helen. And that's as far as I got on that name until I started getting these further names. So I would like to see if anybody has anything else that they would like to say. We are going to talk more about this on Tuesday when we debrief. I'm hoping that we will be able to, that we will be learning more. A Can of Tin Live, yes, there will be a replay. And that replay, we are starting to build out our membership site. Ferris is working on that now. Site won't be ready for, what do you think, Ferris? Would it take another couple of weeks, do you think?
Yeah. And by the way, Cindy, I had to look it up. I've been meaning to tell you, or remind you, the ram's horn, the ancient Jews, and they still use it today, made a horn called a shofar. I couldn't remember the name of it. I had to look it up. That would be the ancient version of a bugle. And they made it from a ram's horn. So this small, tiny figure is trying to tell you that he's got a great big voice.
Yes. And by the way, that person with the twins that was in the dark became a whole lot of people. It started, there was like the changing people. I saw Mussolini and Hitler and all these dictators, even Greek, from Greek mythology, you know, saw some, what's the one with all the snakes?
Medusa?
Medusa, yeah, even Medusa and all of these deceivers. start appearing in that place. So that can be anybody. For this, it just showed me, it just led me to the Johns. So that was really interesting. It's also Aries, which is the first sign, yes. But it doesn't seem like it refers to that. And, oh, and I forgot another thing, and my phone brought that up. As we were talking, I said, I was talking to Gary and Ferris and Jeanette. They've been on this whole journey with me, by the way, everybody. Every day I'd say, this is what I'm getting, and then I'd get the next step, and this is what I'm getting, and that's the next step. So before I got Elyudana's full name, and I said, was it really Michael? Was it really Michael? And when Jeanette and I were talking here in my room, and I said, I asked, was it really Michael? And I hear a ding on my phone. And, you know, I instead of looking at it, I just went down and I started telling Ferris and Gary about what was going on. And this is what appeared. Whoops, let's see if I can.
Well, that was very nice.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see if I can get it. Okay.
There.
Did you see that? At the very same time that I asked the question and I heard the ding, I got an ad from Michael's. So all this took place at 1:49 p.m. Central Time.
You know what I think is sad?
What?
That it's come to the point that he's had to open a store.
Susan said the Rams is naive. Can also, it's a masculine sign and most naive, very literal. Okay. See, there is meaning, and that's what they really needed to show us, because we had that question. Is this, do we put anything into these names? And we are being shown again and again and again that yes, the names that were given they're very old names. I've never heard this name. Has anybody heard these names before?
Only modern versions of them.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even have thought to look them up.
Marcia says, no wonder you originally got that Ferris is the left gate, since you really needed someone to help research all of this.
Yes.
And Patricia says, I like that your mom was Elaine too. God has answered you.
Most definitely.
Earlier, James, when you were talking about John's, James also said a guy who picks up a prostitute is referred to as a John. Then he also said, I had a vision of Jesus. It was very fast, and he said in my head, not through my ears, John, that one name only, nothing else.
Wow. That name has a lot of meaning. That simple name has a lot of meaning in it that people have given it over the years. And I would never have thought of that. And to get two names that mean the same thing, that's
interesting.
Yeah, it is. What a path that we've been led down this last week to help us understand what deceit looks like, where it comes from, and to open our eyes, because we can't be deceived unless we want to be. Where it's an answer to something that we need is what I'm getting. That's what I'm understanding. Is that what you're understanding, Ferris?
Yeah, I think I mentioned to you before, years ago, a con man told me, you can't con anyone that doesn't want to be.
Several years ago, and quite a few years ago now, God told me to start going by my birth name, Dolores, because it was a very powerful name, and I had that name for a reason. And it goes way, way back to when I was in grade school, and my friends at that time who were Catholic said to me, and I love them dearly, I'm not judging them because they were Catholic, I was Protestant, I wasn't judging that, but they said, we can't call you Dolores anymore. we're going to call you D. You're a D. And we're going to call you, this goes way back to grade school. And I said, I like that. For some reason, I didn't like the name Dolores, you know, but I like the name D. I said, I like that. So I told my mom and my sisters and everybody, I'm D. And they didn't buck. They said, fine, we'll call you D. They didn't care. And so, but God told me several years ago, names are important and they have a meaning, and you have a very important name. So people that know you as D is fine. That doesn't have to be changed. But any new people in your life, you are Dolores.
Well, let's go ahead and leave the world viewing room, everybody. Go ahead and close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath. And just envision the world in front of you. Spot very quickly your house. And envision yourself traveling to your town, your home, and back in your room, in your chair or your bed or your floor, wherever you're sitting. Take another nice deep breath. And open your eyes.
Well, Cindy, it's about time to say goodnight, Gracie. But before we do, I have to show everybody something. This is Penny. She came home. Thanks to Cindy.
I made Ferris go for a walk with me. Just put her up a little bit so everybody can see her.
There we go.
Yep.
She's so dark, she just looks like a black spot. Are you awake?
With her penny on the top of her head.
Yeah.
And Penny's been missing for what, about a month?
Yeah.
And then I just saw her foot the other day as she was running away. And I saw this little white foot on a black kitty and knew that it was her. And I said, Ferris, she's still alive. And he didn't think so. And I talked him into going for a walk with Gidget and I. And he saw this black kitty in the distance and he just had this feeling. And so he said, stay back with Gidget. So I picked up Gidget so she wouldn't bark and scare her away. And Ferris knelt down. And Ferris, you want to?
She came up and circled around me 8 or 10 times and then finally just sidled over to me and laid down for a belly rub.
She came when she was ready for you again, or when you were ready for her, because now you can hold her. Before now, you couldn't even have felt her. And you had all that medicine in you. She probably would not have received.
Oh, no, she wouldn't have.
Yeah. So now it's safe to come back home. So isn't that cool? Mary says, welcome back, Penny. So cool. Anyways, everybody, let's go ahead and unmute everybody to say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you. It was wonderful. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Everybody.
Forget about the
Have a
prayer
great day.
wave.
I love you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.